All right, what is up, everyone? It is Wednesday, April 19th, and I'm doing my mid April garden tour. I did record a video on April 1st, but sound quality wasn't good, so not really, not really the greatest, but I'll probably upload it anyway. Um, and just put some caution in the description. But I'm just going to go through everything and kind of show you what's going on. Obviously, lots of flowers are in bloom right now, kind of making the transition from spring to summer at this point. So overall, things are healthy. It's been a really dry spring, so things haven't been doing as well as they otherwise would this time of year, just given the lack of rain and also the heat that we've been experiencing. So um, that's why I've got the shade cloth up over the beds, and in fact, shade cloth's been up since the middle of February. It's when we first got our dry spell started. So just kind of, doing the best I can with it all. Um, I think the name of the game this year is really low maintenance. I'm just trying to do as little as possible, but with the maximum yield, based on stuff I've learned over the last few years. So we're just going to go through everything. So my compost pile back here, and this is cilantro, which has flowered and turned to coriander seeds. And some wildflowers back there, some watermelon. These are mustards, which have gone to flower and getting ready to seed. You can see the seed pods forming back here. But this is a huge bee attractor, so always really busy with the bees during the day. So along the back here, lots of watermelon and sweet potato. Just like last year, I had an insane amount of watermelon and sweet potato all over, growing from late spring into summer. So this is really the least maintained area of the garden. I just kind of let things come up if they want to, and I'll water them if I remember to, but mostly this is where I spend my time. But again, this is really just low maintenance in general. The whole garden is this year. I've really been spending my time elsewhere as much as I can, so I'm just trying to get as much yield from my beds as possible with as little effort. So in here, my sycamore tree is leafing out. Leaves are really nice and healthy and fuzzy after dying back over the winter. And these are vincas, or periwinkle is the common name, and my favorite flower. These all came up on their own just from seeds that were in the soil. And then some snapdragons back here, which are clinging to life underneath the shade of this tree. And then these are all sweet potatoes in here. So in here, we got lemongrass, we got Mexican petunias, which are doing real well. I planted just a few of them and they've started to spread. And then my old papaya tree, which is clinging to life, actually got some shoots coming out down there. So we'll see if that actually turns into a whole new tree and fruits again this year. It'll be interesting. But this back bed is all vining plants for the most part. At least that was the intention. Between that on the edges and then flowers in the middle. So in here I had some different kinds of squash and some watermelons. You can see little baby squash there, but really the yield hasn't been great this year just because of the heat and the lack of moisture in the soil. I've watered as much as I could, keeping up with it, but still different, you know, rather than getting the usual kind of wet spells and dry spells. It's just been total drought for the last couple months. So what comes with that also is just lots of sun, direct sun on these. So that's why, you know, got the shade cloth up to kind of filter out, you know, as much of that sun as I can during the middle of the day. It's not like I have much to really shade any of these plants. I don't have any huge trees or anything like that. So, but we got some flowers in here. These are all nasturtiums and chamomile. Got a spaghetti squash down there. These are tomatillos. So let's see, there's tons of them, and they're really not getting huge like they have in the past. Probably could use some additional fertilizer in here. But this is what they look like when they mature. It's just, again, they're not that big, but they're inside this little husk. So all manner of things in this bed. This is all root crops, so onions down in here. You can see them getting quite nice. They go down quite a bit. So those are about ready to harvest actually. And then these are salsify, which is another root crop, kind of uncommon. Had some tomato plants in here, but I just haven't really maintained them. I just kind of let them grow and do whatever. Some more tomatillos in there. You can see the husks. And then there's a few pepper plants. And some random basil kind of scattered in here. I basically took basil seeds and just threw them everywhere. So, starting to get a little bit of fungal issues. You can see the white splotches on here. That's no good. That means that this is nearing the end of its life. So, probably going to have to pull a lot of that up before it spreads onto other plants. Now in here I had a bunch of different kinds of greens. You can see they've all gone to seed completely. And each of these pods is just full of seeds. So they end up in the soil, they come back up during the summer and the fall. So I've already harvested a whole bunch and took them inside to dry and keep them for next year or whatever. So that's kind of the story of this area. And then we got some sweet potato vines down yonder that are starting to come up. Oh, and this guy here, this is called shungiku, which is a type of Asian green, and it makes the coolest flowers. So this is what the shungiku flowers look like. And what's interesting is that they're all different colors. So earlier in the season, see, here's a yellow one. Earlier in the season, I had a few different colors of them, and it was my first time growing them, so it was super interesting. Down here, some more nasturtiums, and more tomatillas, and then some pepper plants that are actually getting It'd be a nice size. Very, very healthy. I'm very happy about because I've had a hard time growing peppers from seed. The key is to have the shade cloth up so that they don't get too burned during the day. But that's more chamomile. Just in some random spots. Another cilantro. This one's got a lot more flowers. So this is one of the main wildflower areas. Got some different stuff in here. So the cool thing about this is it's kind of different every day. There's always new things blooming and new colors that you'll find, new types of flowers. There's another kind of flower that I've been getting a lot of. This one just fell off, but really cool. And then over here is, it was intended to be the herb area, but I had a hard time growing herbs from seed for some reason. But one thing that did do really well this year was dill. And this is dill. Now, of course, this is the actual dill that you use for cooking, but once it goes to flour and seed like this, and it gets kind of inedible, the taste becomes off, but it still smells really good. More chamomile. And more of those greens that went to seed in here. Now this is actually lettuce in here. Butter crunch lettuce that went to seed. And so this is what lettuce flowers and seed looks like. Now back here with some more root crops, you can see turnip down there, more turnips down here. It's all ready to harvest, but I just had some dental work done and I can't really chew very much. So if I want to harvest this stuff and prepare it, I'll have to like boil it, maybe mash it. Mashed turnips are good. And then rutabagas down here. Kohlrabi right there. And some more wildflowers. Now this is obviously gotten so overgrown at this point that it's not really passable, but we'll try. These are cosmos. And big piece of shade cloth here to kind of protect this area. But like I said, I mean, you come out here and every day something different's blooming. This is about to bloom here. A couple more things about to bloom. Same with these guys. Here's a new flower I haven't seen before. The hard thing about the packs of wildflower seeds, though, is that it's hard to tell sometimes whether or not something is a weed or an actual wildflower. And a lot of times you can't really tell until it's gone through its whole life cycle and it's flowered. You have to get rid of it real quick if it's something you realize you don't want. But check these out. These are snapdragons. These are the biggest snapdragons I've ever seen in my life, as far as how tall they are. That's like maximum height. This is broccoli here that has also gone to seed. Bees really like these flowers. Over here we've got some eggplant. that is flowering, getting ready to produce. Down here, we got more sweet potatoes, tomatillos, kind of all over. See some tomatoes down there. More chamomile. Some more wildflowers down there. And over here, these are the root crops from the other side, and these are actually carrots. So, kind of hard to tell, but look how big that is. That's like mammoth. Absolutely gargantuan. So that's ready to pull up. But that's what all these are. In fact, these are